right, we are here with Anthony Watson. He is a former Olympian and now a current Turning Point USA contributor.
Yes.
How's that going?
It's very tiring, but it's the good kind of tiring.
Okay.
It's the stuff where it's like, you get tired with the tasks because they're never ending, but it's just like the work and the reward that you get from finishing one is what keeps you going to the next one.
Well, the mission is never ending.
Oh, absolutely not. Not in this world that we're living in, absolutely.
Yeah, tell us, walk us through, what does it look like to be a Turning Point USA contributor?
Oh, for me, everyone's different. We have a lot of awesome contributors that work with us that don't even live in Phoenix, but I had to move to Phoenix to work with Turning Point full time. I have a TV show that I created called Campus Crashes with my big brother, Stephen Davis, and we're not related. I just call him my big brother because he's been like a big role model for me, and like we become really good.
And he's big.
Yeah,
he's really big.
6'5", 350 pounds.
Do you think I interviewed him yesterday, and he was a little worried about my chair.
Did he stand?
No, he was worried about my chair, though.
Okay. I'd be worried about it. So we created that concept together, and the whole thing was to always go back and show what the grassroots are doing. So it's a show that focuses solely on what the work of Turning Point on college campuses and high schools looks like.
Okay.
Because we keep talking about grassroots. It's about the next generation. So this actually shows what the grassroots and the next generation are doing to actually win and keep advancing where we are right now.
Does your life look a little bit different now than what you thought it was going to look like after you finished up all of, your athletic endeavors?
Well, my athlete career didn't finish the way I wanted it to. It got canceled early, literally got canceled because I came out in an interview and said that BLM was stupid. And so after that, you can only imagine the kind of letters and everything else that I got from everybody else. But in the end, it's what I still believe, because the issues that BLM was protesting, marching, and burning cities for are still happening. And they haven't put a single kid through school. There hasn't been a community that they fixed up. There hasn't been any money that they've donated to help anyone. That's unfortunate. When I went to the autonomous zone in Minnesota to go see where George Floyd died, there were people literally laced in Gucci and Louis Vuitton and then Christian Dior all coming up being like, here, we're community leaders. We're here collecting donations. You can Venmo us. I'm like, I ain't doing that. I'm looking at literally miles of just death that's right in front of us. And so this whole concept at that point was where I was just like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so for me, I still stand by the stance that all life matters, because when you have a heart for humanity, it doesn't matter what the person looks like.
Yeah.
If you see something happening to somebody, it invokes you to say something. And so after doing that, my life changed, but it changed for the better, because at that point, my identity was just being an athlete, because I had put over 10 years.
Sure.
And so when I came here, it was my very first event where I was just like, well, I don't know what to think. This was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And this was when everybody was their accounts were getting banned. The internet was getting shut down, people being blocked and censored like crazy. And so it was a real breaking point for myself in the good way, where it broke off the mentality of well, everything is going to go to pot. I might as well just go to pot doing something that I know is true.
Yeah.
And then that's how I found Turning Point. So after that, I started paying out of pocket to go speak on campuses, going around telling everyone, my story. But then after 3 events, I got tired of talking about myself. Because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to be an Olympian. Not everyone's aspiring to be a world athlete, but everyone has dreams and goals that take a lot of work and dedication that make people doubt whether or not they can achieve it. My job is to take that and then now tell everybody the things that you have, and then that's what connects everybody together.
Was there any moment of hesitation for you before you spoke out about the BLM riots that you sat there and said, this is going to be life-changing for me? I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Or have you always just been really bold and courageous and
bold and courageous? No, but in the moment, that's what I felt and thought, because it was the truth. Because everyone felt and thought that, but it was just very few people were actually saying it. So it wasn't one of those situations was if I say this is gonna change my perspective. It was what I knew in the moment. I was like, this is the truth. And it's just someone asked me a question, what do you think about all the injustice in the world? I'm like, well, that dude paid with counterfeit money and was high on drugs. I was like, two things that bring the police and ruin your health. So I'm just how can everyone now make it seem like we need to feel sorry for him when he was doing things that were inevitably going to lead to his demise in the first place? And so it's choices that people make. So I had no idea it would end here, because at the end of the day, I spent so much time, sacrificed so many relationships, time with family and friends to go and be an Olympian, that when it got taken away from me just at the flick of a hat is what really broke my spirits in ways that I never thought that I could recover from. And then there were moments where I doubted whether or not what I did was worth it and what I did was right. In the end, it's just I'm sitting here now being able to go to everybody else being look, what I didn't even make up a chapter in the story that makes my life.
What has made it worth it for you?
Seeing the reactions that you get from people whose lives changed and invoking the courage in them to go out and do the same, because we're one body. And I think the biggest thing here is that a lot of people think that they only have a place in this movement if they have a lot of followers, if they have like a big influence, or if they're famous. And I tell everyone, I was like, if you come in here for those reasons, I said, that's what's going to kill you. Because I said, you're forever going to be chasing something that you can't achieve because you can't control people. I said, the people who are the ones that we look up to now are the ones that in private moments when it was just them, the Lord, and their thoughts, they made a decision that no matter what comes, I'm going to do this. And I said, and they've started doing it. And I said, they got all the flashback and all the pushback, but I said, they fought through it. And I said, that's what people respect in them more than what they get for this.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, okay, moving into 2025, what does your life look like? What is Campus Crashers going to be doing?
Well, we're going out to more schools. It's going to have a different approach. It's not going to be so much game showy. It's going to be more just like showcasing what the students are actually doing on campus, because Turning Point is always big on grassroots. So we're going in there showing what these kids and students are doing in spite of what's happening on their campus. And when we go and highlight that, that's what we're trying to do now when we showcase and show people, hey, listen, the next generation is doing this. This is how you can get involved, because everyone thinks that's just like, well, I'm not famous, I'm not this and that. Scripture's clear. It says the work is plenty, but the workers are few. So it's just like, there's plenty to do. So if you really are about this movement, find something to do and then just start doing it. If it picks up, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it, because you're doing it for everybody else. Everyone here is so fixated on being in the spotlight that they forget that this is a servant's role. I could care less about the spotlight. I'm here because of all the work I've done in the past, that everyone was like, how can we do this? And then it puts you in a position to now teach them so that they can do it. That's influence. You have too many people that want to be influencers where they get things for themselves, and very few people that want to be influenceable.
Yeah. So what would you say is your biggest differentiator from the other conservative influencers?
Well, I don't want anything. There's nothing that people have that I desire. You know, everyone here is just like, use my discount code, use this, use that. It's just like, how much do you have to charge if you have to do this? I'm like, nothing. Like, at the end of the day, you have to make a living. But I said, truth is not something that you can put a price tag on. You can go outside right now and get inspired by a sunrise that is a sunrise that you've never seen before. One, it's in a new state. Second, it's at a different season. Third, it's a different sunset when the earth is rotated in a different way than it has it before. There are so many different things that you can correlate from like one small moment like that, that if you take that, you don't need any kind of credit or accolades or anyone to sing your praises ever again, because you're always doing it for the reasons that make you feel at peace with yourself when no one's around.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it. Tell everybody where they can follow you, Campus Crashers, and all the other good things.
Yes. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at AWatsonJam. That's AWATSONJAM, or on my Twitter at AWatsonOLY.
Are you back on Parler?
I am back on Parler. OLY. That's right. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. And let me tell you this. Parler was the place to be. All right. And it's just like, for in the moments that we've had, everything that they went through is just a small sign of people who want to do something good, the struggles that they had to go through. Because when Twitter was shutting down and throwing everybody off, Instagram and Facebook were shutting down and throwing everybody off, YouTube was shutting down, throwing everybody off, Parler stepped up and everyone was going over there to not censor anything. And it wasn't even the users, it was Google Play and the App Store that kicked them off. And they went through all of it. But guess what? A time of season and trials, and now they've revamped and they're back better than ever. And if you haven't joined the Parler platform, you need to get on it right now.
Well, we have got a new spokesperson, it sounds like. Not really officially, but you should be. So thank you so much for coming on today. I can't wait to see just the work that you're going to be doing and all the lives that's going to be changing. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for everything you guys are doing.
Absolutely.